All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with Super Bowl number 56 set to take place tomorrow, there will be plenty of attention that will be placed on the quarterback position with the veteran Matt Stafford under center for the Los Angeles Rams and the young lion, no pun intended, Joe Burrow taking the reins for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, in regards to Burrow, he is in his second NFL season and he's already made the big game as the sky is the limit for this 25-year-old phenom. And as Burrow has gotten the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl in just his second year in the league, he is not the only young stud at the quarterback position on the AFC side, as you really have to keep your eyes on this conference at that position in the coming years. You look at Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. He's just 23 years of age, and he was taken in the same draft as Burrow. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's 26 years old with one Super Bowl title to his credit, and he's also helped the Chiefs make the last four AFC championship games. Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens. Seems like this guy's been in the league for a while, but he's 25 years old. He's 37 and 12 as a starter in the NFL, a two-time Pro Bowler, and he's also a one-time NFL MVP. Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. He's 25 years of age, and he was taken in the same draft class as Jackson, and he's 39 and 21 as a starter. Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans, of course, he sat out this season. Be interesting to see how things work out for him going forward. But nonetheless, he's still 26 years of age, a three-time Pro Bowler, and when he's out there, he is a perennial MVP candidate. Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, just 22 years of age. Of course, he was the first overall pick of the 2021 NFL Draft. Took his lumps as a rookie on a bad team, but you could still see the potential there. You can also throw the likes of Mac Jones and Baker Mayfield in this mix, as well as there are plenty of young guns on the AFC side. And the quarterback position right now is going to be dominated by the AFC in the coming years. I say that because on the NFC side, you got the sage veterans. We talked about Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson as well. And the only youngster that you see on that side with the potential is Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals right now. On top of that, in recent years, we've seen some quality veteran quarterbacks retire. Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, and Tom Brady. And when you talk about these five guys right here, they've combined to win 12 Super Bowl titles. The only one who never got the opportunity to win one was Philip Rivers. Now, in regards to the youngsters that I mentioned here, Mahomes has already won it all. We know that. But will these other youngsters on the AFC side at quarterback be able to taste Super Bowl glory? And do these young phenoms represent a coming wave of dominance in the Super Bowl by the AFC? I'm not going to go that far yet. I mean, I know, listen, Joe Burrow has a chance to win tomorrow. I know that there are some people that want to write off the Bengals against the Rams. I'm not one of them. And, Joe Burrow looks like, he is the real deal. It's not a guarantee that he's going to win, but I'm still picking the Bengals to win. Anyway, you look at it and you go back to the 1980s and the 1990s, especially the 1980s, and there was a time when the AFC had Dan Marino, John Elway, Warren Moon, Jim Kelly, Boomer Esiason, and Bernie Kosar on their side. But the NFC still went on to win 13 consecutive Super Bowls because they had the dominant teams. And I say that because it's going to be imperative for all of these organizations where these youngsters are playing for right now, or who these youngsters are playing for right now, to do their part to put quality teams around their quarterbacks. Because sometimes with what we've seen over the years, when a quarterback is so good and so dominant, sometimes the organization takes him for granted, saying, you know what, we can put anybody around this guy and he'll prop them up and we'll go out there and win. But then once you get to the postseason, of course, what you cannot do always shows up at the most inopportune time. You look at it, the Bengals have put quality offensive players around Joe Burrow. I mean, there are questions about the O line, there's questions about the secondary, but nonetheless, they've gotten this far. Justin Herbert, the Chargers historically always have great players or good players on offense. They got to try to figure it out defensively, as we saw them, fall short in their regular season finale against the Raiders, which prevented them from making the postseason. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he's doing something right to get the 4 consecutive AFC Championship games. But like I said, heading into this season, the Chiefs needed more of an upgrade on the defensive side of the ball, and they did not get it last offseason. So they definitely need to do it this year. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens always have good quality defense. But Lamar, he's 1-2 in the postseason. His season was cut short this year. But for Lamar, like I've talked about it before, he's got to do more in the pocket with his arm in those key moments. So we're going to see how that plays out right there. Josh Allen was playing out of this world rather, in the postseason. And of course, unfortunately for him, it came apart as his defense could not make the plays in the final 13 seconds in the divisional round against Kansas City. Deshaun Watson has had some talent there, but the Texans are a bad organization, so you have to see what's going to happen there. Trevor Lawrence is another guy, and I just hope that the Jaguars put the right people around him soon because you don't want that talent ruined. Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's had his flashes, but it comes down to like the people around him. And Baker's just not a guy that can put a team on his back. Mac Jones is a system guy. It's going to be interesting to see how things work out going forward with the Patriots for Mac Jones, but he did help them reach the postseason this year. But I mean, you look at it, there's going to be some competition at the quarterback position in the AFC. And because of that, I think it's going to be very difficult for one guy to go out there and dominate and consistently get to the Super Bowl. I mean, you think about Dan Marino. Dan Marino got to the Super Bowl in his second season, and there were plenty of people who thought, you know what, this was going to be a yearly thing for Dan Marino. This was going to be like the first of 5 or 6 trips to the big game for Dan Marino, and he never got back there. A lot of that was due to the fact that the Dolphins, didn't put a quality team around him overall. And then on top of that, the competition in the AFC, having to deal with Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills, having to deal with John Elway and the Denver Broncos. And, to Andy Rez's point, the AFC is stacked and Rodgers would be crazy to want to go there. I totally agree because you think about it, sake of argument, like people are talking about the rumors with Aaron Rodgers going to Denver. For me, you look at it, you've already got Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. You've also have Justin Herbert in LA with the Chargers. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what direction the Raiders go in, but nonetheless, you still got Derek Carr at quarterback, and Derek Carr is no slouch. He's had his ups and downs, but he's no slouch there. So I mean, you look at it. Um, on top of that, you got Josh Allen with the Bills in the AFC East. So yeah, listen, spot on right there. You would be hard pressed to think about going to the AFC. It's going to be tough for some of these guys to consistently dominate. And you look at the Chiefs. I mean, they've made the AFC Championship game the last 4 years, but it's not a guarantee because of the other quarterbacks that they're playing. And we saw Josh Allen elevate his game against Kansas City this year in the postseason. We saw Joe Burrow make the necessary plays to get Cincinnati past Kansas City into the big game tomorrow. So it's going to be very difficult, but you know what? You got to like it because it's one of those where you just can't go out there and pencil one guy or one team in to consistently get there. I mean, as good as Joe Burrow has been this year for the Bengals, and as good as the Cincinnati Bengals have been on this playoff run, they got to go out there and seize the moment tomorrow because guess what? Come next season, they're going to have to deal with Kansas City. They're going to have to deal with Pittsburgh. Of course, we want to see who Pittsburgh gets at the quarterback position. They're going to have to deal with Baltimore, Buffalo, New England. Just to name a few, Tennessee. So it's one of those where you know what, when you get the opportunity, you got to seize the moment. It's great for competition. It's great because it's like all of these young studs at the quarterback position on the AFC side it equals ratings and ratings equal money because I guarantee you come next year when the schedule is put out You're going to see a lot of primetime games, whether Sunday night football, Monday night football, you name it, with some of these young studs on the AFC side at the quarterback position. You always want the hot quarterback because it's must see TV. We saw it in the 80s with the likes of Elway, Montana, Marino, you name it. In the 90s with the Aikmans of the world, the Brett Favres, the Steve Youngs, the 2000s with the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, Ben Roethlisberger's of the world. And now we, segued to the Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens. And I guarantee you, the football competition in the AFC side or on the AFC side is in good hands at the quarterback position for the years to come. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. Big shout out to Artie. Thanks for chiming in the chat box once again. And I definitely appreciate the support. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care, have yourselves a wonderful day, and enjoy Super Bowl number 56 tomorrow.